Hello and welcome to yet another Tinto Talks, the Happy Wednesday, where I get to talk about the game that I am incredibly hyped about. And yeah, you get to watch a video about a game that you're incredibly hyped about. So if we're all hyped together, why don't you just click the subscribe button and we can all have nice little hype meetings every time I make a video. This is getting weird, let's move on. Welcome to the 51st Tinto Talks. Next week, it'll be 1 year, or a year of Tinto Talks, which is crazy to think about. Actually, when was the very first Tinto Talks? Like, it was in February, right? The project announcement was on the lovely load speed. What is going on with my internet? Here we go. The 28th of February. Okay, so it's 10 days, well, 9 days from now until the anniversary of Tinto Talk number 1. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. So, 51st Tinto Talks, the Happy Wednesday, where we give you information about our entirely secret game with the codename of Project Caesar. Today we'll talk about subjects and how they function in our game. Lovely. Looking forward to it. So, subjects and their overload. In Project Caesar, as it starts at the end of the medieval era and reaches into the post-Napoleonic world, we have to have a system that works for feudal states and also for grand empires spanning the world. This is simulated by our subject system. A subject is any country that is subordinate to an overlord. It typically has limitations on its diplomacy in return for protection in a war. Subjects may also suffer subject taxation and have a certain percentage of their great power score exacted by their overlord. Additionally, a subject may not become a great power. The exact rules are dependent on the subject type. Subjects have subject loyalty towards their overlord and liberty desire, both of which indicate their current stance on their subordination. Any subject may, in turn, be the overlord of other countries, allowing long chains of subject-overlord relationships. Alright, all of this is essentially identical to what we've seen before in EU4. Some subjects in EU4 were allowed to have subjects, so this isn't entirely new. But essentially all of this is, if you've played EU4, you've played with subjects before, had vassals, personal unions, whatever, none of this is going to be new to you. So, an overlord is a country that has any number of subjects as its subordinates. In return for protecting each subject in wars, it typically receives subject taxation, exacts a certain percentage of the subject great power score, the exact rules depend on blah blah blah. Any overlord may in turn be the subject of other countries. Cool, this was an entirely useless paragraph. Subject loyalty. Every subject has a subject loyalty towards their overlord, ranging from 0 to 100. When a subject has less than 50 subject loyalty towards the overlord, it becomes a disloyal subject. Okay, essentially identical to EU4, except instead of over 50 being bad, it's now under 50. They just changed it around. Big number better rather than small number better. Okay, fair enough. If it's less than 50, it becomes a disloyal subject. When in such a state, it will no longer join the wars of the overlord and can't be annexed. There's also a concept of liberty desire, which represents the subject's current drive for independence from its overlord and affects subject loyalty. It ranges from minus 100 to positive 100, but has a monthly decay towards 0. The value is also used as a currency in some subject interactions. This is cool. This is new. This is certainly new, having two different types of loyalty, especially if we're having this kind of loyalty be used as currency for various interactions. Looking forward to seeing what those interactions may in fact be. So, we have the loyalty of Brittany to France. It's 61.87%, which in EU4 terms, bad, but in EU5 terms, good. Coming from power relative to the overlord, subject's opinion of the overlord, subject loyalty from the current factors of France, 10 base value, okay. Currently loyal as the subject loyalty is at least 50. The Brents are loyal for now, fair enough. Diplomatic capacity. As we mentioned in earlier Tinto Talks, the cost of having a subject is not a fixed number as in previous games we've made, but depends on many factors including the type of subject. This is something that was added specifically because the people demanded it. This is a direct result of player feedback, not even viewer, reader, forum enjoyer feedback, because this is not something that was originally going to be the case. So congratulations everyone who pushed for this. You did a good thing. So here we have the diplomatic capacity of France. They're using more than they are capable of capacitizing. That's a word, don't worry about it. Cost of Flanders is because subject type relative income makes an appearance here. Relative size of navies, okay. So the size of the army does not seem... Okay, no, the relative size of the army does, in fact, seem like it makes a difference. It is the navies and armies, the country rank, and income. Okay. Nothing too revolutionary there. Due to being 0.46 over the limit, they get penalties. Loyalty of subjects minus 11 seems to really hurt. Antagonism impact plus almost 10%. We don't know what antagonism does yet. Diplo rep minus 0.9. I have to assume that this is not the same as EU4 Diplo rep, because this would be very, very painful for being 0.4 over a certain limit. That feels like a crazy amount. And nested tooltips are a thing, of course. You're getting diplomatic capacity here from country rank. You got some base value. You got an advance, societal value, and more stuff besides. Cool. Fair enough. So, how do you create new subjects? If you have locations in more than 2 different provinces, you'll always have the possibility to create a subject of one of your provinces. You can also select on the valid types of subjects that your country can have in that province. After you've selected the type of subject you want, you may, if the subject type allows it, also pick the character to be the ruler of the new subject. There's always also ways to convince your subject to change from one type of subject to the other type where it will be valid. Okay. So this is using the imperative system, and for the most part, I really think that's fine. Basically, the province is multiple locations, right? You have a grouping of locations. In EU4 terms, that would be an area. So you're releasing subjects on the area level, not the smaller location level. And I don't know about that one, because I think it would be kind of cool to be able to release city-states, for example, if you are in the HRE. But as it stands, that doesn't look like it's going to be possible unless you take a single location in a new province, release that, then take another location and release that. Having them be not individual, but like having them be, on the province level. So I don't know about that one. That feels a bit awkward. Maybe there'll be a special thing for the HRE to let them release city-states. That would be kind of cool. But basically, client-state situation from EU4 available from the very start of the game, which I think is great, honestly. Vassals, the most typical type of subject of vassal, oversees its territory on behalf of its overlord, pays vassal fees, and joins the military campaigns of the overlord. Almost all countries can make vassal subjects. So here we're getting the Flanders example again. So what are they able to do? They can't cancel relation on their own, fair enough. They can be annexed at 5 progress a month. Feels way faster than EU4. After 10 years, they can be annexed if they have 150, so they're reducing this from 190. Fair enough. France can build RGO operations. RG. Yeah, I'm going to go with RGO operations. I don't care. ATM machine me. I don't care. They can also build roads and regular buildings in Flanders. Cool. So I'm really quite liking the idea of different rules for different types of subjects. Like maybe some subjects I can build roads but not buildings. Some I can build buildings but not roads. Some I can do other things. Building rules. I like it. Diplomatic rules. Flanders is limited by France regarding diplomacy. France needs 1.4 diplo capacity to maintain the relation. They give food access. They'll join wars always. Benefits for the overlord. They give prestige. They spread 20% embraced institutions to Paris. I like that. That's cool. And they pay quite a substantial amount of ducats. Okay, I take that back. What in EU4 terms would be a substantial amount of ducats, like 5.9 ducats a month from a vassal in the early game is actually a significant amount of money. 5.9 ducats in EU5, we have no idea. Absolutely none. It could be minuscule, could be mega. We literally have no idea. Benefits for the subject, they get more efficient cabinets, and you also spread embraced institutions to Bruges, the capital. Just in general, right? There is no action to, you sell me your institution or whatever. It is just, it gets spread. If they have it, you spread it. If they have it, they spread it. It's good. I love this. I think that's fantastic. Especially for France, because Renaissance was... Obviously, Italy's going to get that first. They're going to be able to embrace it first and all that. But there was also a secondary spawn, if you will, of the Renaissance in the Low Countries. They were, quick on the uptake when it came to embracing that institution. I'm talking about, like, in real life. And obviously, embracing an institution is a little bit mechanical versus what, like, the reality was. But, go with it. They were quicker on the uptake than most places in Europe, second only to Italy, I would say. So no, that's awesome. I love this. If this also happens in game, where the Netherlands, the Low Countries, Belgium, whatever, is more industrialized and therefore picking up institutions faster and then spreading those to the overlord, France, fantastic situation for France to have that as a vassal. Fiefdom, this is a different type of subject. It is a junior title that is the property of the overlord's ruler. It can only be created and maintained by a monarchy. There are some drawbacks to it. It can't be created by diplomatic offers, doesn't grant any prestige. Okay, so just a stripped down vassal type. But property of the overlord's ruler, that does sound kind of funny. As we're talking about Belgium a bit, I guess the Belgian Congo... Awkward segue. Not really a segue. Awkward example. I guess that is kind of a fiefdom, because that wasn't Belgian Congo. It was Leopold's Congo. Anyway, a march. Subject country focused on defending our domain, acting as a barrier between the overlord and external threats. They pay half the gold that a vassal does and can't be annexed, but the march gets a discipline boost and gets better lasting forts that are also cheaper. Better lasting forts is an interesting turn of phrase. More defensive forts. I mean, I'm thinking if this was in EU4 terms, how would I describe the march's forts? More defensive forts, I guess, would be the way I would describe it. So maybe this is something different, and maybe goes some way to explaining how fortresses work in EU5. We'll find out when the game comes out, I guess. Colonial nations. There are subjects centered around the administration of overseas colonies on behalf of the overlord. 2 ways to create a colonial nation. First of all, you can make one out of conquered overseas territory, but secondly, and most commonly, you have the option to create one directly from when one of your colonial charters finishes. Colonial nation gives 33% or up to 33% of the trade capacity and trade advantage to the overlord, while giving up 10% of their manpower and sailors, and pay 20% of the tax to the overlord. Cool. Nice. Conquistadors. These are vassal types? Oh, okay. This is interesting. They are leaders of private armies who have signed contracts with their rulers to explore and conquer certain territories in exchange for the title of governor and a share of the new lands and spoils. It's a unique type of subject that's only available to Catholic countries with a capital in Iberia. Ah, bruv. Okay, I guess. The advance is available from the Age of Discovery. Conquistador can be commissioned by selecting an area in America and a character to lead them. It will also require about 2,000 manpower and some gold to start, and start preparing a nearby good port. This is a really cool idea, and it's real sad that it's limited to just the Iberian countries. That, like, creating an army-based country as a vassal type to then go and create a colony, that's so cool. And I'm really sad that it's so limited. Oh gosh. I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough. I guess it did only happen from Spain, I guess, but come on, that'd be so cool if that was for everybody. Just a few months and it's Conquest of Paradise. No, we don't talk about the dark times. So preparing to start a Conquistador to Peten in Lisbon. So you set that up, you give it some horses, cloth, leather, weapons, and liquor. It needs one of each. You have a lot of that available, and then it will go to the New World, I guess. Afterwards, the Conquistador will have gathered enough resources for the expedition. They'll set sail, and you'll hear from them the next time, in a few months' time, informing you that they've started their activities. So we have Conquistador Augusto. He's a ruler in general of Portugal. Our Conquistador has arrived in Sotuta, ready to spread our influence. And we'll see what he can do. This spawns an army-based country in a location in the area, starting with about 2 regiments of conquistadors. They start at war with the owner of the location where they spawn and will automatically conquer any location they get control over. They also have the capacity to raise levies from the local people, even if it's from a non-accepted culture. If they manage to get to peace or get enough locations, that they will convert into a colonial nation of yours. Some other unique subject types we'll also go into detail on when we talk about countries that can use them in Tinto flavor, including appanages, state banks, Hanseatic members, and more. All right. My new ranking of which countries I'm playing earlier, Iberia just jumped way the hell up. Aragon was already pretty high. Castile's going to be up there. Portugal, which I've never actually played in EU4, like literally ever, despite having almost 10,000 hours, gonna be up there because I want to play with conquistadors. They sound really freaking cool. I love that mechanic. That mechanic is kind of incredible. Honestly, kind of incredible. I like it. So, playing as the Overlord. Several types of subjects allow the Overlord to annex a subject. Annexation is when the Overlord completely takes over one of its subjects. Overlord will gain all the subject's owned locations, cores, and any character not fleeing to other countries. Disloyal subject can't be annexed, though, and the cost of annexation depends on the amount of cities and towns that the subject has, with rural locations having less of an impact. That's really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So, if you annex the Kingdom of Scania, annexation progress is at +2 each month, fiefdom giving +2 itself. The cultural influence versus Danish cultural influence having an impact as well, which is really cool. It costs 666.66. Okay. 1 town is 66, and then 12 rural settlements is 50 each. So towns slightly more expensive than rural settlements, but honestly, not that much. And yeah, 30 years to annex something? Like, Scania is not that big. Skåne is not that big. It's 13 locations. That's real slow. That's real slow. When I saw this up here saying 5 a month, I was thinking, oh, you just need to get to 100. No, apparently not. Apparently you need to reach whatever this is going to be. So however many towns and rural settlements and cities there are going to be. I mean, Flanders will probably have cities. That seems kind of crazy. Plenty of different subject interactions, giving locations or provinces to your subjects, taking land, manpower, gold, or sailors from them, and much more. So, ceding locations and provinces, changing court language, change to fiefdom status, demanding additional tribute, diverting trade, embargo rivals, enable scootage, installing new ruler, paying off debt, relative on throne, press sailors, request officers, returning land, seize territory, send officers, siphon income, start annexation, start war in colony, and support loyalists. Most of these I think we've seen before. Actually, I think all of these we've seen before. Seed location province, I mean, the giving territory, right? It's nothing new there. Court language, of course, is new. Yeah, I think we've seen everything else there from EU4. Fair enough. And there are some other unique ones. So, if you play as a subject, if you play as a country that is a subject, you have a few tools at your disposal. First of all, there are 2 different cabinet actions you can use. Frustrate the annexation. Uses the administrative ability of the ruler and cabinet members to sign to the test to slow down annexation. By hindering their delegates with archaic constitutional legislature and obfuscating them at every turn, we can increase the amount of time it will take for our overlord to annex us. I hate this. I mean, if I'm the vassal, I love this. If I am the overlord and my AI vassal is using this on me, correct. I would be very frustrated. And then slowing disloyalty. The action uses the diplomatic ability of the ruler and cabinet member assigned to the task to reduce the loyalty to your overlord. By spreading cruel rumors about our overlord, espousing the benefits of ruling ourselves, we can decrease our own subject loyalty, potentially becoming a disloyal subject. Cool. EU4 should have this. Honestly, we really just should. And then the effective skill of sowing disloyalty. It looks like half your diplo skill. If you have some rights applied to you, like royal marriage rights, crown power, if you're a vassal, and then And again, half of your... this one's probably your ruler, this one's probably your council member. Alright, so from 48.88 we gain minus 14, so that is... well, this goes to 24 in this, so it's not just a quarter. Interesting. If you want to become independent, there are two ways to do it. First of all, there's a classic option of just declaring war on your overlord. That's often not entirely a good idea, especially not if you have a tax base at about 1% of your powerful overlord. However, the other option is in Project Caesar is to start an independence movement, somewhat similar to a coalition in that it's an international organization with a target country. You can invite other countries to join it, including other subjects of the same overlord, and when you've gathered enough strength in your movement, often securing the backing of another powerful country, you can start the war and have a chance at liberty. Cool. Just to ask for independence support from other countries, I guess. But turning it into a coalition and utilizing the IO system, really cool. Next week, we're looking at weather and natural disasters. Crazy stuff. Loving it. All right, final thoughts on the subject of diary. There is not too much terribly new, other than, honestly, it's this. It's this. It is always this. This Conquistador system seems really freaking cool, and I'm a little sad that it's so limited. I just am. But otherwise, I think it's awesome. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what part of this is your favorite. If you're as excited about conquistadors as I am, if you are going to be raising up those Iberian countries to being a little bit higher in your list of countries you're going to play first when you get your hands on EU5, I'm interested to know your thoughts, so leave them down there. Likes are always appreciated too, and as I said before, subs to the channel, because we're all nerds here. Let's be nerdy together. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.